Welcome everybody that likes Magic the Gathering. Also, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. Comments help me. In today's video, we are going to go over every single white card that has been spoiled in Theros Beyond Death. And we'll also cover the other cards as well, but in-depthly, we're going to look in this series on the white cards. We'll cover the Akroan War, the new saga that came out for red. Break these down. Also, before I continue, look at our Magic the Gathering Arena top 8 deck. We play the best of 3 and went 5-0, so that's the best you could do. The best of 3 matches. You can also check out my M20 draft. We went 7 wins. That's the most you can do. We went 7-2. And you check out my Aldrain draft. So anyway, white card, Theros Beyond Death. Well, that sounded kind of hateful. We have Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. I saw this, I immediately knew where this belonged. Like, I saw this because I actually played with a black-white deck that actually went 10-2 and ranked. And that video is up, by the way. Daxos, toughness equal to your devotion to white. So that's basically for each white mana symbol that you have, devotion. So, by pure simplicity, he's going to be a 2-2. He's a legendary enchantment creature, but a demigod. Another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you can gain 1 life. You know where this card belongs? Right now, for 2 blue mana. This belongs with the Johnny's Pride Mate. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Pride Mate. So you bring this onto the battlefield, you instantly are going to gain life. This will become an instantaneous 3/3, and the devotion, Daxos, the blessed sun, gets even bigger. But also another card that we need to look at is Impassioned Orator as a nice combo. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, under your control, you gain 1 life. And again, feeding off of the Johnny's Pride Mate. And if you feel extra thirsty, Bloodthirsty Airlist is a 2/3 flyer. Whenever you gain 1 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloody Thirsty Airlist. These cards look very interesting that they have a lot of synergies. Yes, I went 10-2 and ranked with an underrated deck. Yes, nobody expects this. And I think this will be great because we already have the cards to set up for this. And let's look at it, Johnny's Strength and Pride. We're not done yet. Johnny's Strength and Pride, its -2 is to create a Pride Mate. That's what it does. So, but it's +1, you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of Planeswalkers you control. But in this deck, for 0 cost, if you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, so that's 35 life, exile a Johnny and each artifact and creature your opponents control. So if you're playing in a multiplayer game, it's your opponents, plural. It's not just your target opponent, it's all your opponents. Fantastic. So I think this is great. I don't play Commander, but if I were, this is something that I would like to do to all my opponents. I'm just like that person. I mean, we can even throw in Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. As long as you turn creatures and planeswalkers, you have lifelink. +2, it deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. You know, its minus ability, return target creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a vampire in addition to its other types. We can have a demigod vampire. That'd be scary. Demigod vampire. Very interesting. Well, very good insight. Yes, it might be a staggering insight. Well, you enchant a creature, and when you enchant a creature, it gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. Oh, look. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Isn't that perfect? Like, you gain life and you draw a card. Where could this exist? Shine Chaser. Flying, Vigilance. Shine Chaser gets +1/+1 as long as you control an artifact. Shine Chaser gets +1/+1 as long as you control an enchantment. What is this? Oh, it's an enchantment. Like the perfect card for the perfect color combination. And attacking for air is a premium. And what about on Ginger Brute? Give it haste, smack them, draw a card. Also, an enchantment deck like All That Glitters. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. Yeah, imagine having a Ginger Brute loaded with these enchantments. It just goes to show you, blue-white is here to stay. It always was. Gosh. Now, I think an intermission is due from white, and let's muse ourselves with a 2/3 blue and black nightmare. Why so serious? The Joker. I don't know. Heath Ledger. Anyway, a 2/3 blue and black nightmare creature token with whenever this creature attacks or blocks, and people are missing this like a Johnny, each opponent. So not just target player, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Ooh. So that means, yeah, I would be the player. I don't play Commander, but if I were, I would play with this card because it affects everybody. It's -3. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. It's like, that sounds familiar. Yeah, Teferi. Yeah. Then that player exiles a card from their hand. It's -7. You may cast up to 3 face-up cards your opponents, plural. That means your opponents. Not target player, not one person, your opponents. Own from exile without paying their mana costs. Well, if you are not amused, then you'll be facing the Nightmare Muse. There's another Planeswalker that wants in, and he says, I am the opposite of Nightmare. I'm Elspeth, Sun's nemesis. If you're Sun's nemesis, then you're really dark. Ooh, kind of is a nightmare. Elspeth trying to trick us, right? Well, I'm not going to lie. If you want to see my gameplay with this card, I'll be uploading it. That's right, I played with the Theros cards. To subscribe, like, and please comment if you want to see the gameplay, because I won't upload if, there's no comments. Anyway, it's -1 ability. People are like, yeah, where was that on Oko Thief of the Crowns? We wanted minus abilities. Well, Elspeth, Sun's nemesis. Up to 2 target creatures you control. Get +2/+1 until end of turn. -2, create 2 1/1 human soldier creature tokens, and -3, you gain 5 life. And if you happen to have 6 mana, you can exile 4 other cards from your graveyard and cast it out of there. That's why they call it escape, like you're breaking out of prison. Okay, so it's an underwhelming Planeswalker. All right, just bear with me here. It's underwhelming. Great in limited, great for draft, very good drafting Planeswalker. I can do a Donald Trump impression. It's really, really good. It's really, really good in limited play. Really, really good. It's going to be really, really great. Guys, I'm just joking. It doesn't mean I dislike them or like them. It's just, okay. Okay, so the tough part with this, if you rely on little creatures that are adventure spells, problem with that is when you have questing beasts in the format, where they're able just to go underneath all those creatures, in a format that green is really fast, there's a Gruul in the format, red-green, which we'll cover in later videos. Theros. I mean, it's not applicable realistically to just instantaneously just make all your creatures get, good rational thinking, but when you actually play competitively in a standard game in ranked, it's not going to work. It might work 1 out of every 5 matches or 6, but it's not going to do the trick. There's so much Planeswalker removal. I made a top 10 card removal list for Oko when it was in standard. Can you imagine the removal that's out for Elspeth, a 4 casting cost Planeswalker with all minus abilities? So the thing about it is, it's got a lot going to it, so it has utility. It's like a Swiss Army knife. I'd rather have a Johnny, which we already seen at the 4th spot. You could already create 2 1/1 white soldier tokens with this card for 2 mana at instant speed. So the card is kind of underwhelming in a sense, but it's resilient in the sense that it can come back for its escape cost. Great and limited. We'll have to see how it really plays out in standard, but right now I just can't put my fingertips on a card. Again, unless you're playing with flying, like the Shine Chaser, which we already seen previously. So if you're playing in a deck like that, where you're playing with flying creatures that have, there are at least 3 3s or 4 4s in the air, and you can just, load them up with enchantments and just swing and kind of get that last, oomph in there, I think this is where this card comes in. You can just kind of put it out there for your opponent to attack it and just kind of avoid attention from you, but it's underwhelming. Now, in a green-white deck, could this do something for you? When you can get it out faster, okay, that can be a case, but we'll cover that later. Commanding Presence. So this is an uncommon. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has first strike. That is huge. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. And the card that comes to my mind is Sky Knight Vanguard. It's a 1/2 flyer. When it attacks, create a 1/1 white soldier token that's attacking and tapping. So this card is just good and limited as well. I mean, we're seeing a very good limited card. I mean, if you drafted this in limited, you have to think that you're going to play with it. 2/2 and first strike is no joke. So it's a pretty good versatile card all around. 3 colorless, 1 white. So I see this played in a multicolor deck. I don't see this played in mono white. I see this more of, you know, a creature that can do a lot of damage but is kind of tiny. And like Shine Chaser, you know, the 1/1 Vigilance, you know, put something on this and let it go. Into lesser relevance, we have Hero of the Winds. It's a flyer. It's a 1/4 flyer. When you ever cast a spell that targets this, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Again, I just don't see this. It's too slow to be played in a Skies deck where, you know, they tap 4 white flyers and you can bring this out. It's a little bit too slow for that. I don't see that played in the deck like that. The 1/4 body, it just says this is really good for draft. To the next card right here, Leonin of the Lost Pride. Is exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Now, that is something. That is something. Not just good in draft. It's a 3/1 for 2 mana, 1 colorless, 1 green, or 1 colorless and 1 white. So you can. So I mean, it can be virtually played with any kind of deck. Great in draft, limited play. All this graveyard stuff, just take something out. And then revoke existence. Again, exile target artifact or enchantment. There's so much artifact and enchantment removal. I know what people are thinking. Fires of interventions with this card. There's so much. I mean, there's so much. There's disenchant. Yeah, you're exiling, but at the same time, you know, we'll have to see what else comes out. But this is underwhelming. Born Orzer. It's an enchant creature. Interesting. Very interesting. Don't bypass that. It's a 2/4 for a 3 body. Again, I can't help but think that there's going to be a nice blue-white deck with Storm Chaser, and you use a creature like this to funnel enchantment and also serve as a toughness of 4. That's a big toughness to be able to block those big ground creatures, to be able to absorb them. And all right, that is it. So those are the cards released for white in Theros Beyond Death. If you want to see me cover more of this stuff, subscribe, hit the like button, and tell me in the comment section what you want to see. That kind of really helps me. Just to give you a little history about me, I played Magic the Gathering in 1994 when I was a wee little kid. I played till 2004. Came back to play in 2011. And literally, my buddy was like, there's a player that's in the game, but it's not a player. Now, you gotta understand, I played in 2004, I came back in 2011, so I quite wasn't understanding what he spent 2.5 hours on the phone with me talking about a Planeswalker. Yeah, not the best way to describe a Planeswalker. There's a player in the game that's not really a player. I'm like, what? Your imaginary friends? What's going on here? Anyway, to give you a background, I study pharmacology, pathophysiology, and occupational therapy. My background's in the health sciences. I was in weight training and bodybuilding and hope to be getting back to that. It'll lead me to a different conversation, and this is the one that I want to have. Just a minute of your time. A lot of people that play Magic the Gathering, sometimes what I realize, because also what I also studied was abnormal psychology, learning how to what diagnosis is, what would be a diagnosable, comes to mental, how to diagnose. And none of this will ever replace medical advice. But what I see is that Magic the Gathering, people come to it because away from stress. To get away from stress. You know, I did that, you know, when in weight training. I saw the same thing when people weight train. You know, think about somebody that works out. It's kind of like a Magic the Gathering player. When somebody works out, you're like, how are you tying fitness with Magic the Gathering? Like, how is this working for you? But here's the thing. Usually people that weight train, what do they want to do? They want to lose weight. Why? Because there's an insecurity. They want to pack on muscle. Why? Because maybe they got bullied. Maybe they were not tall enough, so they can only make themselves wider and bigger, but not taller. Maybe they were undersized. So a lot of insecurity leads to the gym. In fact, if you go up to the guys that are the most biggest, the strongest, some of them are the most humblest when you really get to know them. Because they know what it's like to be overweight or undersized. And there is a psychological, physical component to that. Almost every single person that I weight trained with, there was that element. And I think a lot of people join and play Magic the Gathering also to relieve stress, just like in weight training. And it could be a community where people get together where they don't feel like right now in their life, and I'm not saying this is for all Magic the Gathering players, but what I'm trying to say is they come to the game maybe because in other areas of their life right now, it's just not coming to them, right? And so a lot of times you'll see people that'll play Magic the Gathering, then they'll leave the game, then they'll come back. You'll kind of see that back and forth type of stuff. And I think it has a lot to do with a little bit about what I just talked about. So I just want to leave that there. I put that in consideration sometimes when I make videos. And if these videos, you watching them, gives you new insight from my perspective, playing every decade of Magic the Gathering, or just with my analytics. So for a great example, when you see me play my matches, you'll see, so I know personally if somebody's playing a 60 card deck, they have 2 lands in their hand to start, and they draw 7 cards on their first turn. I know there's a 120% chance that by turn 3, they're going to draw a land. 120% chance. Now, on the shuffler on MTG Online and MTG Arena, does 120% chance usually mean anything? No. But we can have another debate about the shuffler. But the thing about it is, I know what those mathematical odds are. Just like for a great example, if you're on a poker table and you have pocket aces, that's the best hand you could have, 2 aces. And you're playing Texas Hold'em on a table of 9, you only have a 33% chance of winning. That's why you have to bet, so I'm not going to go there, but what I'm trying to say is that's why people bet differently, and they bet, you're like, why did that person on a poker, bet a certain way, if you guys watch poker? It's because the best hand only has a 33% chance of winning on a table of 9. So you have to bet early to get other people off. So it's just kind of one of those things. So there's a psychological, so it's I combine analytics with experience. And so I've seen many, many hands playing on physical play, MTG Arena, and also Magic the Gathering online. In particular, Modern. I play a lot of Modern on MTG Online. Standard on MTG Arena. So that I see it from all those optics. So I'm able to look at that and say, okay, I've seen that hand, I've seen that hand, I've seen that hand. I know the math of that deck. I know the math of that deck. And let's face it, a lot of people just copy each other's decks, this net deck. So I'm able to look at that deck and say, okay, that deck runs 24, 25 land. Okay, they got stuck with 2 lands. They didn't drop down a land turn 3. So I know there's 100 and now 40 to 50% chance that they're going to draw a land turn 4. So I better do this and get my damage in right now. So those are types of things that I do. So it's combining analytics with experience. And that's what typically when you watch my gameplay, I'm like, oh, they played 1 land. They're probably playing that deck. They're probably playing that deck. I'm able to do that because of that. And that just comes with analytics, and it comes with time and experience. To a point, you'll see me overanalyze in some of my matches. And he's like, whoa. He just missed that. But the bottom line is, if any of my videos can help you get away from stress, I've done my job. If you want to help out this channel, I'm not asking you to do a Patreon. I'm not selling merch. Just subscribe, like, and tell me in the comment section. Tell me what you guys want to see. Doing pack-on openings. I already have drafts available. We'll continue doing drafts. I'll continue doing updates. If you guys like these types of videos, you like and comment, and I see the comments, I'll keep on doing them. That's how it works. I'm not pulling any punches with you guys. So for that, I will leave you with this. A lot of times people spend a lot of times at night worrying, right? Sometimes you're laying in bed, you're worried about the next day, what to do the day ahead, or you're worried about did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing the day before? And a lot of times people that suffer from sleep, because in fact, 10 to 20% of people do suffer from sleep. What does this have to do with Magic the Gathering? Absolutely nothing. It's about health. Always looked at somebody and said, you could be the smartest person in the room. You could have a textbook in one hand and a dumbbell in another. You could be a student athlete. That dumbbell or that book is nothing without your health. Let that sink in. But people sometimes with sleep, worrying is like a rocking chair, right? Do you ever see a rocking chair? It gets you move. It moves back and forth, but it stays in the same place. So your mind could be racing at night, and you could be laying in bed, and your body's staying in the same place. It's like a rocking chair. It gets you moving, but it gets you nowhere. So try to relax. For that, have a good day. Have a good night. Share, subscribe, and hit the like button. And tell me in the comment section. If you ever hear me say SSL, that's share, subscribe, and like. Thank you.